live. It's hot, like looking over. It's 32 degrees. 32 degrees. Okay. There is. Need to hydrate. Need to hydrate. Okay, so. Okay, if you're new, we are doing a 5-part mini series on relationship reboot. We are on day number 4. Can you believe we're on day number 4? We've gone live for 4 days. Oh my gosh, like guys, I don't know what to do with my hair. I'm like, it's so hot. And this is like postpartum hair loss. I know. No, nobody warned you that when you, I've had kids before, right? It's not my first rodeo. And the hair loss on this last one, oh, it's like next level hair loss. Anyway, what was I saying? So if you are new here, hey, how are you? Let me know where you are tuning in from, what country you are in, and because I'd love to know where everybody's in. I am, if those of you don't know, I'm in Australia. So, and currently where I am is 32 degrees. So it's hot. It's hot. I can feel in the heat. With that said, we're doing a 5-part mini series called Relationship Reboot. We're on day number 4, and that is Give God His Job Back. I know. It's a juicy one. It's a juicy one. We're on Give God His Job Back. And if you haven't catched the other one, we were talking about gratitude being a heart posture. We've spoken about falling back in love with yourself, as well as restarting, refreshing, rebooting your marriage. So we are live on Facebook and on Instagram. So you can't say you didn't know where to get me. That being said, here's the thing. Did you actually know that there's actually 3 people in your relationship? Yeah. Did you know, like, in your marriage right now, there's actually 3 people? And you're probably going, Cindy, what do you mean? Like, I didn't invite her in. I didn't invite him in. Like, what are you talking about? Like, Cindy, there's only 2 of us in here. Like, what are you talking about? Here's the thing. If you're a believer, which, if you're following me, you more than likely are, right? God is actually in your relationship as well, because when you got married, you made a covenant with God as well. You didn't just make a covenant with your husband, you made a covenant with God as well. So there's 3 of you in this relationship. It's God, your husband, and yourself, or your wife and yourself, right? So there's 3 of you in this relationship. So there's a thing, whenever anything happens in your relationship, it's not just affecting you and your husband or your wife, it affects your relationship with God as well. And that's who you're supposed to go to when things get rocky, when things, just are like up in the air kind of thing. That is who you're supposed to go to when the proverbial hits the fan, right? And here's the thing, I'm seeing this like time. Hear me at the moment. Here's the thing. God has been removed from your relationship. So that's why I titled today's thing, Give God His Job Back. Like, give Him His job back in your relationship. Stop going to Him only as an afterthought, right? So it's time and time again, I see this with couples, and especially people that have been married for a long time. God is like an afterthought in their marriage. It's like, hello, He should be like the first thought, right? You go to God when you have exhausted everything, when you have gone, oh, I've tried this, I've tried that, I've tried this. Maybe I'll give God a try. Like, what? Like, no. Give God His job back. Give Him His place back in your relationship, in your marriage, because that is where He belongs, at the center, or at the core of it all. And right now, if you're watching this and you're like, oh, I don't like this. Hey, I'm a believer. God is at the center of everything, and all that I do, I teach from a biblical principle. I teach principles that work, right? And it was when I put God at the center of my relationship, when I made that the central focus, when I go, God, how do you want me to show up in this marriage? God, how do you want me to show up? How do you want me to love? God, show me what it actually means to be a wife, what it means to actually steward this relationship. Because here's the thing, when you're married, you are giving a gift to steward, right? So you need to actually give God His job and go, God, how do you want me to steward this? How do you want me to show up? How do you want me to show up as a husband? How do you want me to love her? How do you want me to love him? How? Because at the end of the day, there ain't no training manual. And this Bible is just as a married woman, as a married man, right? And you know what, today I was thinking about it, because today we're hitting a milestone in our family. And here's the thing, I'm just gonna clear this. For the longest time, I was like, I'm done having kids. I don't want to, not like this big thing, but it's like, you know what, I'm done. Like, I feel like reached a point in my life where my kids are old enough now. I don't have to clean any nappies, kind of a thing. I felt like, you know, I've reached a point where I'm just like, yeah, we can travel easy, the boys can carry their own stuff, and that kind of thing. But I said, at the end of the day, I feel that I'm done. But at the end of the day, I surrender. I'm like, God, you know me better than I know myself. You know what I truly need. You know what desires. You know what the purpose and the plans that you have for me. So at the end of the day, let me give you your job back, right? Let me give you your job back. Take my hands off the control. Take my hands off the steering wheel and go, God, you lead, you drive. You know me. You know what's better for our relationship. You know what's better for my life, right? And I left it at that. And you know, certain areas of my life where I knew I was holding the reins, trying to control everything. And well, let's just say I got surprised when I found out I was pregnant. And that being said, like, I didn't know I was pregnant. When I found out I was pregnant, I was about 7 or 8 weeks pregnant already when I actually found out that I was pregnant. And believe me, that was like a shock to me. I was like, I thought, like, honestly, with the heat in Australia the way it is, I thought I had a heat stroke. I thought I was like, I'm having a heat stroke, and we were having really hot days. Like, I thought, like, it's just like, that's what I'm going through. Morning sickness, that kind of stuff, that didn't even register to me. And I went through the stage where I was like, I know I've been through this, I know what to do, but like, really? And it took me a while. And as my daughter was born, I stood there like the second day or something, and I looked at her and I was like, God truly knew what I needed better than I knew myself. He truly knew what I was supposed to steward, what I was holding myself back from, what I was not allowing in, and he knew. And oh my gosh, how joyous it is. Like, I cannot imagine my life without her. And yes, you know, a lot of people say, of course you can't remember you imagine your life without her. But with this, what I'm trying to tell you is, when you let God in, when you let God steward, when you let God take the lead, when you let God be prime and focus, he does things in your relationship that you would never think of. He does things in your relationship that you may not even have the foresight, or you're like, oh my God, like, God, what did you just do? Like, you just bless us in a way that we could not even think possible. So when you actually go and put God back in your marriage, back in your relationship, that is when you're going to see such changes, because you're handing it over. Because as I said, I started this off going, there's 3 people in your marriage. There's not just 2. Okay, and it's not the lady down the road or the guy down the road or the mailman or anything like that. It is God, okay? Don't get it twisted. And when you give God his job back, you're going to see things change. So I want to encourage you right now, in your marriage and relationship, give God his job back. Take your hands off the road, of the reins. Stop this need to control everything, this need to like, oh, I've got to do it, I know how I was going to do it, and this is how we're going to do it, and this is how we're going to run it, and this is how I'm going to run my marriage, blah, blah, blah. Go to God and go, God, help me in this area. So God, show me who I need to help me. Show me who it is that needs to. Maybe you need to find a mentor. Maybe find a coach, and God shows you like, hey, go and speak to this person and that person. You know, let them help you in your relationship and your marriage. But go and seek who it is. But give God his job back, because he knows the plans that he has for you. So give him his job back and go with it. With that said, I loved this series so far. Hopefully you join me tomorrow for day number 5, because it's going to be epic. But that said, remember, as always, you are blessed. So live your best. Bye.